Rolex is one of the most powerful brands in the world since it generates an annual income of more than $7 billion and is therefore one of the most valuable brands. In spite of this, Rolex is one of the very few organizations that is able to keep its secrets securely guarded, which is one of the reasons why it is considered to be one of the world's most secretive companies. However, many of you may be curious about how an orphan who did not have any money or family connections growing up was able to develop the watch company that is considered to be the most well-known watch brand in the world. It is undeniable that the shroud of mystery that surrounds the brand has attracted more than its fair share of myths and stories, and today we are going to talk about all of them. Welcome to Lex Life, and when it comes to luxury and lifestyle, we've got you covered. But before we begin, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Now, let's start. Rolex's story starts with Hans Wilsdorf, the company's creative and innovative founder. He was born in Germany and spent his early years full of love and happiness. But sadly, his parents died when he was 12 and he became orphaned. His uncle sent him to boarding school, and even though he was depressed, he liked learning new things, which distracted him from his sadness. Among these things, he learned languages which will help him succeed. Once he graduated, Hans started working in Switzerland at Kuno Korten, an exporter of pocket watches. Because of his proficiency in German, English, and French, he worked as a clerk in the company, in addition to selling watches made by other companies. The company also made its own, giving Hans a unique opportunity to learn about the watchmaking industry and gain insight into its inner workings. Hans learned a lot about the industry and got fixated on making beautiful timepieces while working there. In 1903, Hans moved to London for his new job, where he was now involved with sales and dealing with clients. This taught him the importance of marketing, to observe companies, and what sets one brand apart. He also found great satisfaction in his varied employment, and he was already planning to use his newly acquired abilities in his endeavors. This happened in 1905, when he started his watchmaking company. While he put some of his savings into the business, his brother-in-law and eventual business partner, Alfred Davis, provided the bulk of the initial capital. They partnered to start the watch import business, known as Wilsdorf and Davis, importing Swiss timepieces to sell in the United Kingdom. But wristwatches weren't as commonplace as now. They were generally considered a feminine accessory back then. But Hans believed in himself and his products and was insistent the pocket watches would soon disappear and be replaced by wristwatches. He ensured that his company's watches were of excellent quality, but he also knew this was not enough. He started with branding, which involved choosing a name. Its history is quite interesting because Hans combined random letters of the alphabet to come up with a unique name he could use and fit in the timepiece's face. He ended up with Rolex, which is short, memorable, and easy to pronounce regardless of what your native language is. The company's new line of wristwatches became an instant hit with consumers. Sales increased as more people began to associate Rolex with high quality. However, in 1914, the First World War broke out and everything came to a crashing halt. But instead of seeing a decrease in sales, Rolex saw a surge in demand for its wristwatches because it proved to be a more convenient and dependable alternative to pocket watches. But what brought Rolex to success was Hans' marketing skills. Consumers began associating high achievement with Rolex as early as the 1920s, when Hans began putting his watches on various celebrities. For decades before his competitors caught on, Hans realized the benefits of product placement and ran hundreds of well-placed ads on the radio and in newspapers. It just improved from there because Rolex continued to make and distribute more watches that feature their latest innovations. They continued to rise as one of the top brands regarding timepieces, and as the success continued, Hans realized that he had to think in advance even more. After the death of his wife, he spent the following years making a way to maintain the success and prominence Rolex has even after his death. And this is where Rolex's most interesting secrets come in. In 1946, he founded the Hans Wilsdorf Foundation and transferred all of his Rolex shares to it. This corporation retains complete ownership and management of Rolex to this day. Since it is a foundation and not a business, none of its profits are subject to corporate taxes. Instead, a significant portion of the funds is allocated to philanthropic initiatives such as education grants and watchmaking training. Because a trust holds Rolex, it has no shareholders and is not required to report its financial activity. This structure enables Rolex to maintain a very high level of secrecy. So despite being the most well-known watch brand in the world, very little is known about the company's internal affairs. Therefore, one may argue that the foundation is essentially a smart strategy to safeguard the riches and influence of Rolex and its subsidiaries. Tight non-disclosure agreements also bind Rolex personnel, and according to rumors, photographs are not even permitted inside the Rolex headquarters. As a result, Rolex operates in the shadows, making it practically impossible to criticize anything it does because no one truly knows. What is known is that after Hans' death in 1960, the new owners of Rolex continued to assist the company's growth. However, in the 1970s, when the quartz revolution happened, there was one big problem. Battery-powered watches were more accurate and were also easier and cheaper to make in large quantities. Because of this, many companies that made mechanical watches went out of business. Between 1970 and 1988, the number of people working in Swiss watch factories went from 90,000 to 28,000, but Rolex was still fine. Rolex is not simply a distinctive and artistic watch. Its influence stems from its illustrious past and the intellect behind its inception and success. Honestly, you're not purchasing originality or artistry when you purchase a Rolex. Buying a Rolex is not a decision to purchase the best thing or the best thing for the money. Rather, it is a decision to purchase a sure thing, something that will continue to have the same value in 10 years as it does today. Certain that you can sell or swap it if necessary. Certain that production will continue to fall short of market demands. The brand's interests will not be subordinated to shareholders' pressures, nor will the brand's long-term value be diminished. This is the secret of Rolex's success and why it is the most prestigious watch brand in the world. If you enjoy this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, click subscribe, and hit the notification bell to receive updates in our latest videos. Also, feel free to leave us a comment if you want to watch more videos. Head on over to our channel to see more from Lex Live. See you!